Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today, whenever you see this, I would like to offer the weekly rune reading for the week of June 9th through the 15th. I read for the elements, not the zodiac just yet. And if you're interested into why, there is a video in the comments down below. You can check that out, or in the description below. You can check that out and see why I read for the elements instead of the zodiac. And we will start off though in the pattern of the zodiac, and that is with fire, which covers Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And if you are interested as to what your elemental balance might be, if you've never had your charts done, because that's one aspect of your birth charts, is an elemental alignment, so to speak, you can check out a natal interpretation chart that I put in the description. It's not an affiliate link. It's just a really good resource that I found. It comes with your main horoscope chart, the circles and all the houses. And then it goes through between 10 and 20 pages of what's the Merlin report, breaks it all down, tells you some really awesome information about what your elements are, what each of the different aspects in the different houses mean, how the planets and constellations are talking to each other. And then it also goes through your generational kind of alignments, I guess you'd call it. But they're super interesting. It's kind of fascinating to see. The company's been around for quite a while, but I highly recommend that one. If you're interested in any of the other stuff, some of them are affiliate links, so if you click through those, it does support the channel. But otherwise, we will get started. We'll start with our fire family here, and fire is your first rune is the Laguz rune. So this is a water energy, color of deep green. Tarot association is the star, and astrology is the moon. So fire, this is definitely tapping into something you may not be the most comfortable with, because water is your polar opposite. Its rune symbolizes the unconscious, intuition, mystery, psychic awareness, hidden sources of creativity. Creativity is something that fire is very much familiar with. So this rune is going to be a good one for that part. But what I'm getting is this is definitely a period of your subconscious creativity. This is not going to be as bold and outright as you generally are. These are going to be the creative things that are subtle. These are the creative things that are the more quiet. This upcoming week, really tap into your dream state, tap into meditation. If you're not comfortable or not on board with that just yet, I understand, but this is how you're going to start accessing those subtle aspects of the mind. And your second rune for fire is Othila, which is ancestral property, color of deep yellow. Tarot association is the moon, astrology's full moon. Definitely a lot of water coming up for our fire family this week. Signifies possession, inheritance, real property, and inherited abilities or traits. And I feel like this was something that came up last week for fire as well, so this could be a theme for you right now, is tapping into those inherited, subconscious, intuitive abilities. When you have Laguz and Othila, what I'm seeing with this is something that's flowing to you from an ancestral aspect. And they're really wanting to bring forward that this is not just about physical inheritance. This is not about financial gain. It could be associated with that. But what the guides are really wanting to say is pay attention to how your dreams respond. And this has been a theme for you, fire. So this is not just a one-off. This is definitely something that the universe is coming in to do a little tap, tap, tap on you. Imagine tap, tap, tap on your third eye. Time to wake up. Time to be ready. And it's going to come through in ways that are associated with how you are most creative. They're not saying this is going to be sitting in a class and meditating quietly for 12 hours and all of a sudden enlightenment. No, they are being very clear. Fire, this is going to be an active, very, very much you thing. It's going to be a little bit on the flamboyant side. It's going to be a little bit on the in-your-face type energy, but it's going to be that way in the best possible way. They're really saying just to be paying attention to the dreams, because that's how one aspect it's going to bring this inherited energy forward. Part 2 to that is it's going to come through it's going to enhance your intuitive abilities. So if you're a painter, pay attention to the symbology that you're feeling led to add to your paintings. If you're a sculptor, notice the details that are coming through that may be a little bit more symbolic, maybe a little more mystical, so to speak, because the spiritual side of life is definitely coming up for you right now, and it's calling to you to answer and to listen. This is a growth period that fire's going through right now, and it's interesting because, like I said, at least the last 2 weeks, it could be a third, I didn't go back that far, it's calling to tap into that subconscious and work with that energy. So with that, we'll hop over to Earth. And for Earth, we have switch my symbols around here. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you are a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have Earth high up in your chart, meaning it's one of your top 2, then this is going to be for you. And we'll start with Iwaz or Iwaz, which is the home rune. So for Earth, we are color of white. The tarot association is the Lovers. Astrology is Gemini. It's interesting that the last couple of weeks, there's been one rune that has been the opposite of either Earth or Fire consistently. Earth, Gemini is your opposite. It's in air. So travel and change, new jobs, new homes, spiritual journeys, and movement. If you, Earth, have not been experiencing a lot of shifting, even though this has been a theme for you coming forward, is this challenging your status quo, not the status quo. This is a challenge directly to the Earth family, and that's where this shifting is coming up. You're kind of they're showing me a little bit of like digging in your heels, like you're not quite ready, and basically you're gonna keep getting the signals, you're gonna keep getting the challenges until you're like, okay, source, what is it you want? What is it you want me to change? What new thing are you trying to shift me into? At that point, things are gonna start to ease up, is what I'm hearing. But it's definitely, there are some changes coming. These are not changes that are inherently comfortable. That doesn't mean that they're inherently bad. It just means that it's going to be a little bit outside where you're normally comfortable with, but your second rune offers a little bit of hope for that. And that is the Algiz rune, which is protection, color association of gold. Tarot is the moon, and astrology is Cancer. So you have some water energy coming in to kind of soothe things, is what I'm hearing. It's protection from danger, resisting temptations, and new beginnings are possible. Well, they're possible, all right. But when you have Iwaz coming in too, that's not a possibility anymore. It's inevitable. These changes are actually going to be things that you've been looking towards. They've been things that you've been wanting to work towards anyway, but you didn't know how. You weren't sure what the next steps were going to be. So you make the request to the universe. The universe is like, okay, here we go. And you're like, no, I didn't mean that way. And then you have that stern parent hand on hip tapping their foot going, what did you expect? And it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just like you keep asking, but instead of stepping up to be like, okay, we can do this, you're like, no, not that way. This is one of those things where you're working with that moon energy, that lunar energy, and it's saying just go with the flow, Earth. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing to make these changes, but we're here with you. Your spirit guides, your connection to source, your angels, they're all here to support you So as you process through this, understand, might be uncomfortable, but it's going to end up being for the best. And in this particular moment in time, tap into that fluid state with the moon. The moon also is a great identifier of how you will be getting some of these communications and ideas, and that's through meditation, your subconscious, but also working with the dream state, activating through watching the moon. We just came out of a new moon cycle, so we're into a new energy building. Use that energy to kind of give yourself a little boost forward with these changes, because the universe is saying you can be in one spot, but even a tree that doesn't move, it's in one spot, but it still grows. So it's calling you to kind of stretch up, grow, but you have to get those roots too. So there's this little growth period coming up for Earth this week. And again, Fire had a continuation, and Earth is having a continuation of growth and a little bit of shifting going on. So let's look at our air family, covering Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you are air or have air high up in your chart, here we go. Your first one is Kano, which is a torch or fire. So air, you feed fire. This could be this could be interesting. Color is light red. Tarot association is Chariot. Astrology is Venus. So you have fire and water coming in. You could be the fulcrum, the balance point between these two energies. Signifies creative fire, awakens artistic impulses, passion, and amorous desire. I use that term on purpose. So this week, this is about a lot of activity, a lot of union of opposites, so to speak. And when you have the symbol of the torch and fire, but it's balanced by the Venusian water energy, it can be very emotionally volatile this week for air. This is not something you're super comfortable with. You want to analyze emotions, you don't want to be involved in the emotions. But this week, you're involved. And that doesn't mean it's bad. But what it's saying is, pay attention, because it could be very fun, it could be very active for you. It could also be a little bit on the stressful side, but that's just part of life. When you have intensity coming in, good or bad, it can amplify things. This energy is coming in for air is going to be a little bit on the intense side, and it's going to be intense in a really good way. But like I said, there's always that aspect that it could flip as well, so just be aware of that. But your second rune is Ansus, which is ancestral, the god Odin, color of dark blue, tarot association of death. So there's some things that need to be evaluated this week as well. Astrology is Mercury. Wisdom, help from someone older. Magic, psychic powers, and initiation. When you have the torch with that balance of energy with the Venusian energy, you're looking at this, you're the fulcrum. Air, you are the balance with this one right here. But in the other side of that is when you're in the balance point, that means you kind of hold a lot more of the cards than you realize. When you have the god Odin, Odin is a symbol of wisdom. He sacrificed one of his eyes to be able to see all of eternity. That takes a lot. You don't have to sacrifice that much. They're saying, though, that you hold the balance this coming week. Good, bad, light, dark, all of that stuff. It's kind of resting on your shoulders, but the death card is saying, you're the balance, but you also have the say in when you're done with holding this balance. If you're in between two people and they're kind of picking and carrying on with each other, you are the one who's in control to end that situation as far as your involvement. The death card in this instance is not always, the death card in general is not always bad, but with Odin coming in and the death card as part of that aspect, it's really saying, air, if you're done with this situation and it's causing you too much stress and drama, where it's taking that passion, that amorous energy that's been building and growing this week, and it's trying to sour it, done. Walk away. It's no longer your problem. It's no longer your concern. If they need your assistance, they can come to you later. But at this point, it's saying, take yourself out of the situation. You, on yourself, have the Kano, that fire. You're passionate. You have a lot going for you this week, Air. You do hold a balance to a point. But the Anzus rune is saying, you are not the one to solve all the world's problems. And the situation that you're finding yourself in, they're showing specifically between two people. It's not even like a business and home thing. It's two people you find yourself in the middle of. It's not your problem this week. Step away from it. Let them figure it out. At this point, yes, you can hold the balance, but the balance needs to be tipped, is what I'm hearing. And this is not something that you need to hold on to consistently. At this point, they need to figure it out. So step away, do your thing, enjoy the exceptional energy that's coming in for you, and let them deal with their own mess. So with that, we'll hop over to our water family. And water covers Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So water, your first rune is Fehu. So this is one of the elder runes. Its color association is light red. Tarot association is the Tower. Creative destruction. And astrology is Aries. Again, working with your opposite. But this one is a good way of doing that. It's good luck, success, fertility, and harmony. Water this week is setting up to be very they keep saying the word intense, so we'll use intense. Intense, but it's in the best way possible. When the Tower comes up, everyone sees it as kind of a negative, but it's not always. It's creative destruction. You have to disassemble something, take the parts that are working for you, and then rebuild. With this particular rune, it's saying you have success, you have greatness ready to be brought forward. There are some things that may not be working in your favor towards that goal. And that's where taking that thread out because it's just not right, removing that aspect, or at least setting it off to the side for the moment so that you can restructure. This week is a very positive week. There's some interesting flashy energy coming up, but it's saying at this point, let things kind of fall where they are and rebuild from that point. But it's not going to be as rough as earth or fire in this aspect, because those guys have got some things to learn, some things to work through. Water, on the other hand, you've already done the more heavy work. Now it's kind of okay, I got all the building supplies, everything's here, where do I start? That's where you're at. Or I took apart all of the shirts because you're going to make a memory blanket, because that happens a lot too. You have all the bits and pieces cut up and looks like a gigantic mess, but you know what you're going to do with that gigantic mess, and the creation aspect is what's being brought forward. Your second rune is also the Kano rune, and it's torches and fire, color of light red, tarot association of the Chariot. Astrology is Venus, so this has got some water energy in it. Creative fire, awakening artistic impulses, passion, and amorous desires. Water, this week, two things. It's going to be very creative. It's going to be very fun. You're going to be bringing order to some chaos that has been being broken down bit by bit over the last few weeks, is what I'm hearing. This week you're going to see what the outcome is, what you're going to be working towards, you're rebuilding out of. That is going to bring your inner passion, that creativity for something new, for something better. But you're now, in this week, you're able to see the end game, which you haven't been able to see in the previous. It's been a little rough, it's been a little jagged, but water, now you're seeing why that was necessary. This week is going to be a big eye-opener for you. And if you are in a relationship, they're saying this week is a good time to send the kids to grandma's house for the weekend, for a night. Really connect in with your partner. Connect in. They're really wanting to emphasize, connect in and let humor be a part of it. Even if it's silly, even if it's funny, it doesn't matter. Take a night this week, if you're in a relationship, just for you. Turn off the phones, don't get on the internet, just be with your partner this week. And they're saying if you're single, go out with your friends, see what happens. You might meet someone that, and that one doesn't, they're not saying that one's going to end up being an amorous one so much as this could be a good week for you've went through an emotional clearing of all the all the excitement, and now it's time, are you ready to take the next step to make a connection on a deeper level? So instead of being a friend, maybe a partner, a relationship could be starting this week. But there's a lot of positive vibes coming up for water. And basically what they're saying is you've been through enough the last few weeks. It's time to start bringing things into a higher frequency for you. And with that, the closing message for all signs, or all water, or all elements, there we go. No matter if you're going through something good or bad, there's lessons to be learned and there's ways to grow. Some people might be dealing with a little intensity this week, could be a little emotional, but sometimes you have to go through those emotions to purge out and be ready to be filled back up. So whether you are dealing with stress or with frustration, find ways to ground it out, to let it go. When you're being roughed up, sometimes it might feel a little uncomfortable, but you have to polish something to make it shine. And Source is saying this week, there could be a little bit of roughing up because you need to be shined for later. So as you go through this week, remember, it may not always be the most comfortable thing, but the outcome is going to be amazing. So with that, I'll let you guys go. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video if you enjoy this type of content. Comment below, let me know your thoughts, feelings, impressions. And with that, have a great rest of your week.